He's only lived here a dozen years, but he's been a lifetime volunteer for the American Heart Association. Meet him coming up next on Carolina People. Good morning. Welcome to Carolina People. This morning we're at the Beach First Center at the corner of 38th Avenue and Grissom Parkway in Myrtle Beach. We're focused on the 13th Annual American Heart Ball, and we're visiting with the president of the Waccamaw Division's Board of Directors, Ray Spitz. Good morning, Ray.
Good morning. Nice
Thanks
to see
so
you,
much
Greg.
for coming in.
My pleasure.
It is great getting you in. What about this facility here? This place is beautiful.
This is something else. It's the first time I've been in it. It's
Is
quite
that
a
right?
building, yes.
A big green building.
Big green building.
Not only with green roofs and green awning out there, but they did quite a bit on the environmental side to make it just right.
It's some building. Very nice.
It is. You'll have to go upstairs after the interview this morning and check out, I think, Nelson Mullins, Riley and Scarborough, the law firms up there, and a big parking lot. It's a great setup here.
Very good.
Thanks for coming in also as the one guy to break up four ladies this week. So you're right.
Aren't you lucky?
We segue you right in the middle there, Ray. Yeah.
Very good.
Yeah, I think Renee Minkin was with us on Wednesday, and Joe Fisher will be with us tomorrow, and Lois Ergel on Friday. So it's a great week. Jessica Sasser was with us yesterday. It's really been a tremendous week and focused on a lot of events, and obviously the Heart Ball's getting close. Are we, what?
We are exactly 1 month by days away from it. It's
1 month.
Saturday, February 17th.
Okay, right. And it's going to be held where?
It's going to be at the Kingston Plantation this year.
Okay, great. The Kingston Plantation.
Yeah,
up
we've
there.
been there before. It's a very nice facility, so we're looking forward to getting back there.
Oh, yeah, that is a tremendous location. Of course, it had been there, 5 years ago, and then it was at the Radisson.
Yes,
now
sir.
the Sheridan 4 years ago. Then for 3
Then to the
years it was
Marriott.
the Marriott. And now, of course,
Back
the
to the
opportunity to be
Kingston.
back at Kingston. And they put on a tremendous showing. I mean, they really do a great job. I understand they have room for 1,200 folks there.
We'd love to fill it up. That's our plan.
Yeah, absolutely. And, of course, every year after year, bumping around 1,000 people at the event.
Yes, it is.
It's
That's-
got to be one of the biggest events, if not the biggest, in Myrtle Beach.
We consider it the Myrtle Beach Gala for the area.
Yeah,
It's great.
Yeah, right. When did you begin service on the board?
Well, I was trying to think back to really determine the exact year, and I believe my first year on the board was 1998. So
Is that right?
It's been a long time.
So almost a decade
Almost
on the
a
board.
decade
Yeah.
on the board. That makes it sound very long.
Makes
But
it
I've
sound-
enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And a little bit about yourself, Ray. Are you originally from the area?
No, I'm a transport. I worked with Corning after college.
Right.
It used to be Corning Glassworks.
Sure.
Became Corning Incorporated now. And finally, I wound my way south and got to Raleigh,
Yeah.
North Carolina, an electronics plant.
Huh.
And in the late 80s, AVX Corporation, who's a major employer here in this area, purchased that plant. And I went to work for them in Raleigh. Eventually, I ran that plant. And then in 1994, they asked me to move to Myrtle Beach and run their facility here,
Is that right?
which I did. And I'm a native now. I'm staying.
Golly, I don't think I knew you. So you were running that plant in Raleigh until
Yes.
they brought you down here.
Mhm.
That's incredible. That is incredible. And then I think I saw for a time you'd been you moved out of that position into the executive VP of Human Resources. even.
Yes,
so working with everyone.
In 1997, from the plant manager's position here in Myrtle
Right.
Beach, I took over what we called corporate human resources for AVX. And that was a worldwide position, basically concentrating on our personnel, making sure that we had people when we needed them and policies in place to run a manufacturing company.
And so you traveled all over the world with that, right?
I did travel all over the world for the last
Boy.
several. Yes, I
Wow.
did.
That's amazing. And AVX is spread out all over the world.
Oh, we were, I don't know exactly where it is at this point in
Right,
time, but
sure.
back in 2004 when I was there, I believe we were in something like 17 or 18 countries, and we had like 26 or so manufacturing facilities.
Is that right?
So it was a very, very big organization. It still is.
We had Dick Rosen on the show for about an hour back in '04. It was fascinating hearing him talk about it during his tenure as the CEO, and I believe at that time he was the chairman of the board and still active, and he may still hold that role. But it was fascinating hearing him talk about how spread out the company was. And Kyocera, obviously the parent AVX, really spread out.
Yes, they're a very large Japanese corporation that we are a subsidiary of.
Sure, sure. Well, so of course, you said you grew up in Pennsylvania.
Grew up in Pennsylvania, yes, in the, I'll call it the south central part of Pennsylvania. And went to school in Pennsylvania, and I started with Corning, which was the first company I was with in Pennsylvania.
Right, right.
But I got tired of cold winters.
Oh, yeah, I bet you did.
So it was nice to get to Raleigh, and nicer still to get to Myrtle
keep
Beach.
heading down south.
Yeah.
That's right, and you're a golfer, so it's even better.
Yeah. The primary sport's tennis, but I play a little golf.
I didn't know your primary sport was tennis.
Yeah, not very good, but I play a lot of it.
That's what's primary sport. Renee Minkin was with us on Monday, I said, and she's a native of Pennsylvania. Went to school up there, and we were talking about, I was trying to figure out, do you know where Latrobe, Pennsylvania is?
Sure, yes.
Arnold Palmer's hometown. I remember hearing about Latrobe. He's a Wake Forest graduate, and
Right.
was not familiar with it. I just wanted to make sure and clear that up. There is such a thing.
There is such a place.
As Latrobe.
Latrobe Country Club is where he used to play golf.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That's a state I'm not too familiar with, but there's a lot going on there, and obviously a lot of people like to move there. But I'm glad to know we've snagged a couple down here from that area.
Many.
How about the hardball itself, Ray? Can you break down for viewers, and actually maybe we ought to get a phone number out if someone is interested in possibly attending a month from today, or being a sponsor, or donating an auction item, or thinking about or just making a donation. What's the best number for someone to call?
The best number is here at our local office, which is in Myrtle Beach, and that's 626-3939. That's
Okay.
very simple.
That's 843-626-3939. Okay. Well, that is an easy number for folks to remember. And, of course, if folks wanted to learn more just about the mission of the American Art Association, they can go online to heart.org, I believe.
Yes.
But surely that phone number, and those folks are very receptive, return calls. The office is busy all the time.
Very, very busy, particularly when we have a big event going on like we have now.
A month from today. A month from today. For viewers who may not have attended a hardball in the past, can you give them a sense of what the evening's like? Just break down a typical hardball evening.
It's a wonderful evening. It is a black tie affair.
Okay.
Starts with a reception, and we have a silent auction.
Oh,
A
great.
very, very large silent auction. We've had things from cars to golf carts to well, you name it, we've had it.
Right,
We're having a very good silent auction again this year.
Great.
And then we have what I'll call a gourmet dinner. It's a sit-down dinner. It's wonderful. I believe our menu this year is going to be a steak and shrimp. So we're going to have something for both the fishermen and the farmers, so to speak. But we have a fine meal. We have a live auction that goes along with that.
Great.
And then after that, we have a dance, and it's a live dance with a band. Last year, we had a wonderful group called Jumpstart, and we're lucky enough to get them again this year.
That is tremendous. They are crowd pleasers.
And so we will have a great time.
Yeah.
Some of us party so hardy, we normally stay very close to that area overnight.
Oh, that's
so
right. That's right.
We don't have to drive home afterwards,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
it is a wonderful event, and it's for a very good cause, which is the other very appropriate thing to mention about
Oh,
it.
absolutely. Absolutely. And it is oftentimes a late night. And folks wonder, as Renee and I spoke about on Monday, how can you be at an event for 6 hours straight? But the 6 hours just flies, doesn't it?
It's no problem. The
Yeah.
evening goes extremely fast, and it's a lot of fun.
And Kingston Plantation has some great rates for attendees of the
Yes,
hardball.
and they will do that again this year. We've been fortunate that every year, regardless of where we've been,
Right.
the
Host
where we've
hotel.
hosted it has been able to give us a good rate for people who would like to stay over, and that will happen again this year.
Renee talked about some sponsorship opportunities that are still available, Ray.
Yeah, we're right in the, I'll call the heart of getting our sponsorship plans and organizations complete. We're probably a little bit over halfway there, but we do have many sponsorship opportunities. With that, our sponsors, of course, can get tickets to the event.
Right.
And that varies based on the level that a sponsor is interested in participating. But in addition to that, they get advertising.
Good.
They get publicity right there at the site itself. There is publicity that goes on beforehand, so they'll get newspaper recognition. They may get airtime recognition, depending on the level that they choose to participate.
Right.
And we have levels everywhere from a very reasonable level at $500 to all the way up to a grand sponsor, which I believe is
$22,500. That's right.
$22,500.
Yeah, the presenting sponsor this year.
And we've captured
got
one of
one.
those.
You've
Yes,
got
we
a
do.
presenting
Understanding Corporation.
That's right.
It's presenting sponsor. We're delighted.
Triangle-based technology
Yes.
company, and you wonder why a company out of the Triangle would step in and commit $22,500 to an event, but they understand the mission of the American Heart Association fighting heart disease and stroke.
That's right, and there's also, as I said, it's a way to get your name, your product, your people out in front of really I'll call them the wheelers and dealers and people who make things happen in Myrtle Beach.
1,000 folks, yeah.
Yes.
That's a tremendous opportunity. And for folks who want to donate auction items or sponsor at all levels, if it's $500, as you said.
Yeah, one of our key levels, just to talk about that, we have what we call corporate level.
Corporate table sponsor.
And that gets people a table of 10 tickets. It gets them the press ads, the recognition at the event.
Right.
And it's if we have people out there that are interested, we still have room. That's $2,750 this year.
Good.
And
good.
That gets them to the event.
Right.
Helps provide money for the American Heart Association, which we haven't talked a lot about its mission.
No, we will in a second.
But is a very worthwhile organization, and they'll have a great time. If they need to impress clients or they want to do something to reward their employees, it's a wonderful way to do it.
Sure, absolutely. And even as you said, to impress clients, I know in the past AVX had gotten some tremendous sponsorship levels, and it was a great opportunity for you to bring folks out in the past and to wine and dine, as you say, your clients, as well as to, as you said, to really respect and honor the mission of the American Heart Association. Let's talk a little about that.
Okay.
What kind of impact does heart disease have on the community, or stroke?
I'll say, unfortunately, a devastating impact. Just to go through a couple figures with you, every 35 seconds, someone in the United States dies from heart disease or stroke, or from a cardiovascular event.
Mm-hmm.
In South Carolina and Horry and Georgetown County, where we're representing, we have probably 40% of our deaths that have some association
with 40%.
40%. We lose 1 million people a year in the United States. The mission of the Heart Association is try to reduce those deaths and reduce the disabilities that are associated with it through education and research, and we do our part here in our division in Horry and Georgetown counties, but that's true throughout the United States. That's our mission. And research, for instance, in South Carolina this last year, we've spent over $2 million on grants. And it goes to such places like MUSC and USC and Clemson, where scientists are finding out the things that they need to know so they can combat this very terrible disease.
Absolutely. And of course CPR and AEDs had been found out about because of thanks to research.
Yes.
Much of which done possibly even in the Palmetto State or in the Carolinas in general. And a lot of tremendous research institutions. I believe about $40 million is raised in the 4 states in the District of Columbia, or $40 million is reinvested back into research in those 4 states and in the District of Columbia. And of course, even if that much isn't raised, this is a tremendous location for research dollars being invested back into the community.
Yes, it is, and it's critical to solving our issues with this disease, and we're making progress. And that's the other thing to report. There's a lot of great things happening in this frontier every year.
Mm-hmm. Well, you mentioned that mission, which it sounds simple, but it definitely isn't, to reduce death and reduce the disabilities associated with cardiovascular disease,
Yes.
to reduce death as caused by cardiovascular disease, or to reduce the disabilities. And that's really an issue when you think of strokes. And I think you talked about the prevalence of strokes, but it being the number one debilitator, if that's a word, the number one disabling impact on Americans, strokes themselves. And to think how many deaths occur, I think it's 1 in every 3 minutes someone dies due to a stroke, which is a tremendous thing. And so when you think of the number 1 and number 3 killer, you've really got to raise dollars. $400 million may have been raised, but that much, a heck of a lot of that's being reinvested into research every
Absolutely.
year.
It's the single biggest slice of where the money that are raised going, and we have a lot of good community services and education things that go on, but by far the lion's share of the money that we raise goes to research to try to find ways to combat the diseases.
So there's still some sponsorship opportunities that Renee talked about, and there's still some great benefits for those sponsors. If they come in, I think I saw either $3,750 or the $5,500 and above would get the benefit of the TV spots as well as the print ads and the radio spots. I think both of those are in the process of being cut right now. So it's a prime time to call, and you said the phone number's simple.
Yes. Again, it's 626-3939.
Okay, 843-626-3939. And the great thing is a lot of folks come in for the Heart Ball from all over the PD and southeastern North Carolina. They'll come in and make it a weekend, and it being a couple of days after Valentine, it's a prime opportunity. February 17th, folks can come in, attend the Heart Ball, and stay there at Kingston Plantation. I'm sure there's some great specials, probably some great weekend specials anyway.
Wonderful time if people would like to do it. It's
Absolutely.
great.
And to bring some friends and family in, get a corporate table in that instance. And for folks, if after the sponsorships, I think the tickets go on sale the end of this week. Or
Yeah, we're in the process now of finalizing that. We'll get some information out to the general public within the next couple days, and we will have some tickets. We hope a minimum amount from our sponsorships, but there will be some tickets left, and we will make them available then to the general public. And there'll be information out on that from our office.
Great, good. Let's go over that when we think about the event again, and we talked about some of the tremendous silent auction items. Let's go into those a little bit, but also the live auction items. I think you talked about the jet ski and the trailer. Maybe you just talked about it before we started filming a few minutes ago.
Yeah, well, this year, and again, I'm not sure, and we may not have decided exactly what we're going to do on the live auction versus the silent auction yet.
Sure.
But this year we do know some of our big items. We're going to have a jet ski and trailer.
Yes.
Which will be wonderful for someone to be able to take home.
Redline Power Sports.
Redline is doing that, and we're having a golf cart.
Another golf cart, thanks to Ocean Lakes and the folks at Club Car.
Right.
That's a tremendous donation.
I believe some unique things, like I think we're having at least one person who will be able to participate in a Nassau driving school. So we'll be giving something like that away.
NASCAR is stepping up to the plate there. That's wonderful.
So we have a lot of great items such as that we'll have. It's always interesting to see a room full of items that people are interested in and people can bid on.
Sure.
Make a tax deductible contribution to the American Heart Association and take a really nice present home with them.
Oh yeah, and you think about some of those items in the past. Of course, not necessarily focus on items right now for this year, but think about some of the items in the past that really stick out in your mind, right? Can you think of any item?
A couple. Last year we had a, and I won't get the exact year right probably, but we had a
76.
Was it a 76? I was going to say a 71, but okay, a 76 refurbished Cadillac. It was gorgeous.
An Eldorado convertible.
Right,
That's right.
and
Leo
beautiful,
and Peggy Van Veen
right,
from
beautiful
Resources
red.
Inc. Yeah.
It was gorgeous, and
It was.
It
and
was.
Ed Prince stole that.
And that was, yes, he did too. He got a great deal on
did.
it, and that was a live auction item, and it was great.
That's right. That was a very popular live auction item. I remember 3 or 4 years ago a Segway, which Redline had also donated. I remember the chairman, Liz Gillen, ride around on the Segway there. And actually one guy, actually a guest of the Herald, bought it that year and then donated it back. Bob Brooks bought that year and then donated it back so we could sell it off a second time that night, which was a tremendous fundraiser.
Right. We've had, I think, English racing bikes in the past. I mean,
Right.
you name it. Of course, we were in Myrtle Beach, so we have an awful lot of golf privileges and golf clubs and things such
That's
as
right.
that. But we do have a lot of good items, and everybody remembers us for a very good cause.
Sure.
So our auction does a good job of raising some money for this very good cause.
That's exactly right. And golf packages are one of the vehicles that a lot of folks want to come out, and particularly, as you said, because a lot of these things you cannot buy in the open market.
That's right.
You can only get them in a setting like this. I think Renee spoke about lunch with Congressman Brown in the House of
Yeah,
Representatives.
that was an item last year, and it's going to be a repeat item this year. It was very popular.
which
We're
is-
going to do it again.
Absolutely, and the dinners where you've got personal chefs like Tom Mullally, who are opening that up. Thoroughbreds have been donating those in the past. I know Divine Dining donating those, and of course, so many tremendous events year after year that
we've
folks can support in the community. And the Heart Bowl is.
We hope so.
Absolutely.
We plan on it.
And of course, I think you said you've attended the gala 7 or 8 years. Or
Yes,
anything
yes,
that really
I have.
sticks out in your mind over the past years? Of course, as you said, those 6 hours that just blow by.
Yeah, I think it's always been a lot of fun. I personally thought last year, for me, was the best, and my hope is that this year will be even better.
And some of those sponsorship packages, folks can buy at all different levels.
Yes,
And
they can.
When they think about
Anywhere from, as I said, a bronze sponsor, which I think comes with a couple tickets,
Right.
all the way up to a group that could get a couple tables of tickets with a
Sure.
sponsorship if they're interested in doing it.
We've just got a couple of minutes, and of course that phone number 626-3939. The tickets will go on sale soon.
Yes.
They can call the Heart Association office to find out. But as you said, those sponsorship levels, the bronze with 4 tickets, or the corporate table with 10, the silver, I believe, with
Is
12,
12,
the
right.
gold with 16,
Yes.
and even the emerald, of which we've got one of those now.
Yeah, and there's 20 tickets that
20
go along
tickets.
with
The
that.
presenting sponsorship with the 50 tickets, and of course, Understanding Corporation, the company that's committed the $22,500 for that presenting sponsorship, is open to another group coming in as presenting sponsor for that event. So,
We'd love to have one of your listeners call that number
yeah,
and tell them they'd like to be a presenting sponsor. We will make room for them.
that's right. We would make room for them for their 5 tables, and that's a big event. And as you
Yeah.
say, it's a tremendous opportunity to wine and dine your clients.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, Ray.
Or your significant other, because it is a beautiful event.
It is, and right after Valentine's, we just got a minute. As I was thinking about, when you think about yourself, Ray, and the experiences, is there anything that sticks out in your mind? Anyone that's been impacted by heart disease or stroke, that really got you to get involved with the American Heart Association?
I think primarily on a personal level, my father had a heart attack when he was 55 years old. And I've already gone well beyond that age. So that's significant. It caused him to change his lifestyle, and thanks to some of the advances that we've talked about in medications and procedures and things such as that, he's still alive today at 95. So, 50 years ago he had a heart attack and he's still alive. But I think that's probably made it something that was important to me. And then when I got involved on the board and saw the good work that was done, it's something I'm very happy to be part of and to volunteer my time to try to make it successful.
Thank you for your service, Ray, and thanks for coming on this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Stay tuned to more Carolina Feed with Ray Spitz coming up next. The event's the 13th Annual American Heart Ball. The place is Kingston Plantation. The date's a month from today. Phone number simple, 626-3939. The goal's almost $500,000. Almost $500,000. To achieve a goal like that, you got to remember three critical things. Every 35 seconds, someone dies of heart disease. Every minute, someone's impacted by a stroke, and every 3 minutes, a life is taken by a stroke. To raise $500,000 in an event, you've got to think of critical things, and research dollars can help decrease those numbers dramatically. Research has to continue, though. Be a part of the Heart Ball. Be a part of fighting heart disease and stroke. Call that number. Be a sponsor, donate an auction item, or just make a donation, 626-3939.